Welcome to another episode of Rebel Rootz. I am honored to have Miss Sheri here today. I was trying to go back to the year that I met you, and I think it was 2015. You probably don't even remember. But you
remember,
were
but it's been a while.
over on the little behind the bookshelf, or where the bookstore was on New Center. Not New Center. I'm sorry.
Was it at Mystic?
Kirk. Yes, at Mystic.
Okay, yes, at Mystic. Okay.
So that had been like
2000.
2000.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yes.
And we were like in a little room and all that. And I don't know why Don and I went in there, but we were just like in I don't know, just in this situation. And I'm like, well, let's just go get a reading and see what she says. And we met you and you drew the stuff down on a piece of paper. And you told me that I think it was Gabriel, right? He's orange.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, Gabriel.
So you told me Gabriel was with us and that you kept on seeing him brushing a broom out of a house. And you're like, that means that there's going to be change. Like you're going to clean house and all of this. And said that Gabriel was with us when we saw orange. And probably 2 weeks after that, there was a person that we were we didn't know what to do with. And he came in a bright orange shirt.
Yes,
and
now
he
I
resigned. And and Don was underneath the conference table just kicking me to death. And I was like, what? Why? He's like, he's wearing orange. He's wearing an orange shirt. And I was like, oh my gosh. So that was the first time. And then we've met with you more than that. But the other one that really sticks out is that before we bought our venue, you drew out the entire farm. And you're like, this is a piece of property that you're going to buy. And I was like, what? And it had, what was unique about that, I mean, obviously you could have drew anything, but I still have the piece of paper and you put a pond, and this property that we had like multiple homes on it. And you drew all of the homes around the entire property. And you was talking to Don's grandpa and he told him like not to be scared. Like, don't overanalyze it, go for it. And we did. We ended up buying the property. I think it was like 6 months later. And when I stepped on the property and we saw this, I was like, holy shit. Like Sheri drew this out for us.
Wow.
And
well, y'all are so open. That's it can come in quite clear when you're open, and that's what I love about you both is you when you come, you're just, your hearts are totally open, so if somebody comes in and there's resistance, it's hard for me to get in. It's free will.
And that as soon as someone, and I guess, we probably should introduce you really fast. I just got so excited and was wanting to tell all the stories, but if I guess you're cluing in about now, you probably don't, maybe you can figure out what Sheri does, but go ahead, Sheri, tell everyone.
Oh, okay. Well, I am a psychic medium. I consider myself a healer. I started out in healing. And I talk to angels and I do private readings and groups and hands-on healings.
And passed on, I guess, people's past or loved ones who have passed over too.
Right. That's mediumship.
That's mediumship.
Right, yep.
Okay.
So, I have the ability to do both. Yeah.
So take me back. I always ask at the very beginning of the podcast, like, who were you like in school? Like, were you a rebel kid? Did you follow the rules? Anything that you can remember, like back in your first, second, third grade that stands out to you now?
Actually, I was very shy.
Okay.
I was very, very shy. I would say pretty much my whole childhood, I was pretty shy with others. I did become a little bit of a rebel as a teenager. I have 4 brothers, and my mother always says I was the hardest to raise. I think she probably just worried most about me. But yeah, I mean, to be a speaker, no. Never would I thought that I could do what I'm doing today.
What age did you find that this was your mission?
Oh, in my 30s.
Okay, so that was later.
Oh, yeah, much later. I've had over 50 jobs before I came out of the closet with this. I've towed cars.
Okay.
For most of my adult life back then, I was in sales. But I always loved people though. Always. So I back in the day, just this, 5'1". Back then, I was 110 pounds selling sexual harassment signs. I kid you not, for $10, they were bigger than me. Um, but no matter what I did in sales, I loved the communication with people, and I always felt I was curious about them and their life. Um, but I'll tell you this. My last sales job that I had, I sold water, water coolers and coffee brewers and businesses. And it was really, I was under a lot of pressure because we had really tough goals to meet. And I drove by this school, and it was an aesthetic school. And I pulled over and I started crying because I was under a lot of pressure. And I heard, go back to that school and join it. And when you do, you will find what you're looking for. It'll be through that avenue that you'll find what you're looking for, but know that you won't be in it long. So
And this just came out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. In fact, this
was that your first sign? I mean, that was your first.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, it hit me. And now this happened even before my dad died. So I'm fast forwarding or backing up a little bit. So that's what I did. I went home and I told my husband, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to go to school. He thought I was crazy. My parents thought I was crazy. Made pretty good money. But anyway, I did do that. So I became an esthetician. And from there, I was hired at a really beautiful salon. I mean, it was just beautiful. And I probably could have worked my way up to management in that place. It was really a beautiful place. But anyway, from there, I opened up a salon with partners. We opened up our own salon. Now, and it was funny, when we were building the salon, my husband did quite a bit in there. He was in construction, and I remember telling him, Spirit told me that, da-da-da-da. So if we don't stay here long, I don't want you to be upset with me, because Spirit told me that there's something else. My poor husband, after all these jobs, and he's thinking I'm finding my place, he's like, oh my God. So now I'm going to back up a little bit. Before we actually opened up the salon, my dad died. He got sick. And within 3 weeks, he died. He was only 57 years old. And I was a daddy's girl.
Oh.
So when I was little, I would see things like Jesus. Saw Jesus on a white horse with wings and everything. I was a little girl. I was like 5 years old. And at that time, I never even heard the word Jesus, because he had just started teaching me my night prayers, because I was having bad dreams, night terrors, And my dad was very much a godly man, but wouldn't go to church. But he was a godly man. So anyway, he was teaching me about this man named God, right? So I'm a little girl. So my dad would leave the room, and I would say, God, I have to meet you. I have to see you. And he came to me, and it was Jesus. And of course, I went and told my dad. My dad's, what did he look like? And I'll never forget, I remember my dad just looking at me, just with awe, but he didn't say anything. And he just said, okay. And so from then on, I would see spirits, next to my bed, or things would happen, and I would tell my father. Because remember, I have 4 brothers that I'm living with, right?
Yeah.
And an uncle who was raised with us.
Tell them, and they're going to tease you forever.
Yeah, they're going to beat the hell out of me. Trust me. I learned how to fight at a very young age. So there was always a spiritual aspect, right?
Okay.
So when my dad died, it came back quick. I mean, quick. I met my spirit guides after my dad died very quickly. And I was never afraid. I would go to bed, and people would always say, oh, in your dreams, right? And I would say, no, I was awake. I would lay there, I'd get into bed, and I would just keep my hands there and say, okay, I'm ready.
And they would just approach you.
They'd come in. They came in one at a time. I could see their faces like you. And I saw things that I would learn 17 years later what they were.
Do you think with your dad passing over had anything to do with that?
everything.
Everything.
It did everything because, you know, my belief is we're all here to find out who we truly are and to live it out. You know, who are you? Being your authentic self is where it's at, right? So now my mom was afraid of a lot of this stuff. So we didn't talk much about it out loud in front of my mom or my brother. So there was very little conversation about it. So my gifts were, you know, they weren't nurtured. You know what I mean?
Right.
Although he didn't push them away or anything. He just didn't, you know, bolster anything, right? I was always interested in the psychic ability, Sylvia Brown and all, you know, that. But mediumship, I didn't even know the word. But I knew when I had my first reading with a medium, which was very unexpected, I was given a facial to a woman who channeled my father after he passed.
Okay.
Like right after. I mean, it was like 2 months after.
So you're laying on the table getting your face scrubbed, and she's like, I need to tell you something.
Oh, I was scrubbing her face.
Oh, you were scrubbing her face.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was the esthetician. I was scrubbing her face. And she was telling me things that only Dad and I knew. And I remember, so when I walked her out of the salon and I sat down, I literally saw, it looked like smoke rising from my shoulders. I kid you not. Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, okay, I wonder if anybody else sees this, you know? But I don't believe anybody could. But I will tell you this. I felt this darkness leave me. That's called grief. And when it left me, I said to myself, she saved my life. That's how it felt to me. And I said, that's what I'm going to do with the rest of my life.
And is that what you did? So
yes,
I'm assuming that you were meant to meet her so that
absolutely.
This could all go through. And that's what they were telling you.
The manager at the front desk, now this is before I opened up my salon. The manager at the front desk said, that's it. You're not allowed at the front desk anymore. Because a psychic would come in, mediums would come in, and they'd be like, you know, your dad's standing next to you. And she had never had witnessed that before. And I had met a healer. So it was all, you know, it was really driven. It was godly driven for sure that I was meant to help people through this avenue.
So how does that work? Like you have a full-time job and you're like, I think I'm going to be a medium from now on.
Oh, it wasn't easy. But let me
I'm
say
sure
this.
you got backlash from,
oh my
what
God.
year was this?
Oh gosh, this was over 20 years ago.
Okay.
But yes, it was difficult because the only person that believed me was dead.
Correct.
Really. I remember my oldest brother saying, I don't know, Sheri, do we need to take you to the hospital? You know, because between grieving the loss of my dad and this happening, they thought for sure I was just losing my mind.
Did you practice like on your friends and family? Or
no, clients.
So
when I was doing facials,
okay,
since I was opening my third eye, I would just naturally see them.
And so you started talking to your clients on the table. Say, can I just open up about what I'm seeing?
Yep. And I had met a healer and who went to this school. And it was like, what? There's a school for this?
Okay. And
I was getting my teeth cleaned. And the hygienist said, hey, oh, by the way, there's a school. Which actually I had met a healer before that who told me about the school. But this hygienist said, they're taking applications. It's like soon. It's like next month. And I'm like, okay. Finished up there, drove right to the school and signed up. And that changed my life. It was the greatest support that God could have sent to me. Now, they didn't teach how to be a psychic or a medium. It was about healing, but it was about healing yourself and how to heal others. We learned a bunch of different hands-on healings, but it was pretty intense. You know, we went really deep, but that I had to learn to heal myself before I could engage in mediumship or even the psychic ability. It'd be like a loose cannon going out there reading people.
We were just talking about this before we started filming, and I asked you, I'm like, do you believe that everyone has this power?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you said yes, and I do believe that too. I just think that. Yep. And why do you think most people can't, like, I guess, tune into that?
They don't want to.
They don't want to.
They don't believe.
Okay.
If it's not physical, it's not real to them. And for that very reason, they're not going to tap in. Now, mediumship is different. Well, not really. I think we have the ability for both. Because we're loaded with our loved ones around us. I mean, you could have met somebody when you were 5 or 6, an adult, and that adult thought so much about you that he comes to visit you now. And you would never think that. In fact, who's Francis? Do you know a Francis by any chance?
I do.
Who's Francis to you?
Grandfather.
Oh, he was in the car then.
With you while you're driving
I
here?
kept getting Francis. Yeah, that's funny. But so we all have the ability to do it, but we have to clean the muck out. You got to clean the muck out that we're holding. You know.
Do you? I mean, obviously, okay. So you're driving here, and
yeah, I just heard his name.
They know who you're coming, I guess.
Oh yeah, because remember the time is different. We don't have time, so we can sit here and say, oh well. He saw the future before it's happened, right?
Okay.
Even though to him it's not future.
Is it present? Or it's just
it's hard for me to wrap my head around, to be completely honest with you. It just seems to be like a hall of mirror, I guess, hall of mirrors. It's just all
around. Like
it's all around, Yeah. But anyway, I think he's quite proud of you.
All right.
Just so you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want you to know that.
I was wondering if you were going to say somebody's here or not. So
yeah,
I was going to ask you at the very end, but you already brought it up. So now I don't feel like I'm getting a free session here.
Listen, it's wonderful when they give their name, right? Because it just like takes care of it. It's just like.
So who do you talk to normally? Like I know angels, right?
Yep. Yeah. For myself or for others, you mean?
I guess both. Like, who do you talk to? Certain angels on a daily basis, like for you personally?
Oh yeah. Oh God, it's like constant. I have met 13 of the archangels that help me with other people, and they help me too. But it's sort of like sometimes they let me know who's there for me.
Okay.
But I have to tell you though, I'm a really big Jesus fan. And I talk to Jesus mostly. I really do.
Just go straight to the top.
I really do. Yeah. I feel the most comfort with Jesus, And I know that sounds funny. Like people that are watching this are going to be like, wait, what? It's not religious to me. I don't have a religious background. But it's hard for people who are religious because they think, I'm talking to the devil.
Right.
That I don't understand.
What is like, have you gone with them or gone to them with a problem and then they came back? I'm sure all the time. But what do you think has been like the biggest, or what's the most important to you? One, maybe that they've talked you through something or helped you guide you somewhere or healed someone?
Well, I'll say this personally. For me, it's been raising a child. Raising my son. I have 2 stepkids, but they're a little bit older. So when I was raising Rick, as a teenager, and he took after his mother, that blew my mind, how I would talk to God or the angels, Archangel Michael, to watch over him. And I, talk it out. You got to talk it out with them. Let it all out. Let all the worry out. You can't say anything wrong. It's just you got to get it out. Surrendering that and the confirmation how quickly I could get my answer. Like I could pray the night before, and by morning I would have my answer, the clarity, and knowing that he's okay or that he's protected or the problem resolved. That's been the biggest help in my life. There's a lot of mothers out there.
Right.
A mother's prayer gets to heaven the quickest.
I love that.
The absolute quickest. Healings, I have witnessed miraculous healings. I don't take any of them, that it's me. They work through me. But sure, I've witnessed seeing people's pain gone, almost instantaneous.
I was trying to think, like, we've been here almost 14 years. So how long? So you've had doing it 20 years. You said 20 years.
Yeah, I would say my
full time.
Yeah, okay, so I've lived here for 15 and my career really started here.
Okay.
Interesting, because
so I wonder if we just met, like it only had been a couple years since you've been here.
Probably.
Okay.
Yep. It was it's really just been over 15 years, I believe. Yeah. And I started quite quickly after moving here to Wilmington. Was sitting at a bar at Carolina Beach at the Tiki Bar, and the bartender offered to take me to a business. And she did, and the woman hired me. And I was there for over 11 years.
Oh my gosh.
And I really this is where I got my start to do it. See, I was pretty shy in Connecticut. And when some people found out about it, at that time I owned my salon, doing readings, I would tell them, you got to lay on the table, but you can't look at me. I couldn't even look at them. And then when Diane Young hired me, it was Visions and Dreams back then.
Okay.
And she hired me as a healer. I didn't tell her anything else. And she saw cards in my bag. She said, you can use the cards. And I'm like, well, they're oracle cards. Anybody can use them, And she said, well, you're going to go on the floor. You're going to do readings. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. But she made me, and I'm so glad she did, because I just love it.
But you kind of do it uniquely. I guess if someone was to come and book an appointment with you, kind of take us through that process, because obviously you said you have to be open, and I kind of prepare before I get to you.
Yes.
A little bit.
It's such a big help. Well, what people don't understand is that I communicate with the angels. I talk to the dead, and I'm a psychic, and I talk to animals. So even though it is set up like that in my website when they book, some people don't know, or I think they want to test me. And so I've just learned now, when people come in, I say, doesn't matter what they book. I say, other than the animal communication, that's quite clear right there. But I'll say to them, you signed up for mediumship. Do you want to talk to those who have crossed over? Or are you looking for advice, psychic stuff? I ask them that. And then I start with a prayer. And I first and foremost ask Spirit what message they need to receive today. And I'm telling you, it's usually right on point.
Really?
It's usually it's right there. If I ask Spirit first, Spirit knows what to give them. And we really just, we take it from there. But if it's talking to those who have crossed over, I just have to clear my head and clear the room and let them come in one at a time. Try to get them to come in one at a time. Yeah.
But you do something else too, and you didn't touch on. But you draw as you're doing this.
Well, what's funny is I don't always do that.
You don't?
No.
Okay. You've done it every time with me.
See, it's what you need then.
Okay.
It must be what you need, or it's just unique to your situation. But you have been building, you and your husband, since I've met you two. So this could be the format that your guides know is going to be best for you too.
Okay.
So,
I thought you did that with everyone, because you always had the paper there. So,
I do always put everyone's name down in the time. And sometimes I have to doodle. Sometimes I'll scribble. Sometimes I'll get a name. And if I don't write it down real quick, I'll miss. So I have that as a backup. But sometimes I do draw, but not very often. That's funny that you bring that up.
The first time I met you, I still have a piece of paper.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be, everybody's unique, and that's what it is. Everybody. Now, I got to tell you this really cute story. I did a group for mediumship on Zoom, okay?
Okay.
Now, there's 5 women sitting there, okay? Now, I even had their names for them. But this wife didn't care that I got her husband's name. Now, as the medium, I'm thinking it doesn't get any better than that, right?
So
No.
she gave.
I gave her his name.
Okay.
I had never met these people.
Okay.
Only one person there was the sixth person, but she just booked it for them because she had a private and wanted them to have it. So, but this woman said to me, there's one thing that my husband promised me he'd give to me before he passed. Can you give it to me? And I said something about a bird. And she said, what kind of bird? What color's the bird? And I'm like, yellow. But she wanted the name of the bird, right?
Right.
And I'm like, not getting it. So at the very end, I said, listen to her husband in my head. I need the name of this damn bird. You know, I think this was great reading, but she's not, I can see her face.
She's not 100%.
She is not 100%. All of a sudden, okay, this is me being a dingbat human. I hear, oh crap, what was the name of the bird? Small yellow birds.
Finches or parakeets.
Anyway, whatever the name of the bird was, I didn't say it right. And it'll come to me. But anyway, I said it, and there was a young girl there with her phone, you know, and I said, look up this word. I don't know what this word means. They all flipped out. It was the kind of bird.
Okay.
And I looked at the woman, and she had this big smile, and I was like, okay, are you happy? Did that do it?
Did that do it?
Yes. She said, that's it. That's what I wanted to hear. I just said it a little bit different, but it was great because, I didn't know what the hell I was talking about, which is even better.
Well, I'm sure you get people who come in and they're skeptical of that. And I wouldn't say that and maybe you have had
not
some
too
get
many
rude, but I'm sure you attract the right ones that come into your business too. But
honestly, if there's not a connection and it has happened, I just cancel it and I refund them the money. It's okay. I remember I had a woman who, when I told her husband wanted her to move on, got really ugly. I mean, she just was, you can't tell somebody to move on after been married for 30 years in 3 years. She's only been gone 3 years. And I could feel it. And I said, it's okay. We don't have a connection. We just don't have a connection. I'm going to refund you your money. It's okay. And I remember one other woman, she wasn't nasty to me in front of my face, but she was afterward.
Of course.
And it wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. It wouldn't have mattered what I said. It wouldn't.
Yeah. Some just don't come in a good spot. And so
not too
whatever
often.
You say, they're not receiving.
That's
even
right.
though maybe that's the communication that they need. And obviously they're
No, that's the
not
thing,
receiving.
especially with mediumship, because you just don't know. There's too many people with good validation that spirit lives on and can come visit. You can't take the ones that either don't show up or the communication is vague to dismiss the whole deal. You just can't. There's many people on this planet who have gotten clear communication, and you just can't dismiss. Because, leaving all bullshit aside, we all don't want to admit sometimes what our relationships were like.
Correct.
That could be one. The other one could be that they're just not showing up because they're in paradise.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they're on the ride of their life compared to here.
Have you ever been, someone has came through and has scared the bejesus out of you? Or I guess if any time, has there ever been a time where you're...
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I had a very scary experience once. Something followed me home and shook my bed to where the headboard was banging.
Hell no.
Yeah, I thought I was going to die that night from a spirit. I kid you not. I was so afraid I couldn't see what it was. And I can open my eye to see spirit, but I was too afraid to even look. But, and I'll just fast forward it to get to the punchline. The next night when I went to bed, I had spoken to a friend who reminded me that everything started from the light of God. Everything, right? So if you stay in the light, what's the strongest? It's the light. And of course, I was like, oh, yeah, of course, But I was alone that night, by the way. I was absolutely alone with my 2 dogs.
Hell no.
Yeah. So next morning or the next evening when I went to bed, I got into bed and the bed started moving slowly. And I sat up and I screamed at it and told it to leave. Of course, I used a few other words. And it left. It never came back. But I didn't come from fear. You can't come from fear because you're powerless. They know that. They can feel that.
Yeah, and so they do that.
Yep. And so I've remembered it since.
All right. I don't know if you've said it all right, but before we started, you said that you had something that you never spoke on any podcast before. Do you remember what you were going to say?
Well, it was the spirit guides.
Spirit guides. Okay.
How they came to me. And how they actually came to me was just their head. So I'm lying in bed. I'm awake. And they were just right in front of me, just their head. But I was never afraid because these people were smiling. But they went through me one at a time. When they went through me, I gasped. And my chest would lift up off the bed. But it was so beautiful. It was just the most loving feeling.
Scary. Yeah.
Not at all. And there were 5 of them. And after all 5 came through, they all showed themselves like they're hanging out in the air, their head, and just smiling at me. And that's how I was introduced to the fact that they were spirit guides. And one of them, which I don't believe I've ever spoken about, showed up in physical form in the hospital when my dad was dying. Her name's Mia. She was in the physical form. She handed me tissue because I was on the floor in the hallway because I had just realized my father really was going to die. And I was alone. And she just walked up to me, handed me the tissue sideways. She wouldn't let me see her face. And I took the tissue. And I felt something, but I didn't have the knowledge that I do now, But I took the tissue. And not too long after, I kind of ran down that hall to see who this woman was, but I couldn't find her. And then a few months later is when she came to my bedside. But I could see through her next to my bed. But I could see her. I could see her not in the flesh like I did in the hospital, but I knew it was her.
What's a piece of advice if someone's listening to this and they're like, I think I have the calling? Yep. What would you tell them to do? If you think that they're, and because it's a little bit more open now.
Sure it is. Yeah, it's great. The first thing I always tell people is to make sure you're working on yourself. You do not go too external. And that means, because that's when people get off track, searching for the big thing. Because everybody thinks, it's like hitting the lottery. That's how people think. I think it's like, oh my God, I can do this, I can do that. Where am I going to go? Where's my big break?
Right.
There is no big break. I mean, every day is a big break. If you start doing this for others, that's the big deal. Not everybody gets on TV. Not everybody gets on radio. But just seeing the people's, especially, there's a lot of parents who come in for readings who have lost children. There is absolutely nothing worse than that.
Yeah.
And if you can help them through the grieving process, there's the big win.
That's the win.
That's the win. And that's what I would tell people. Don't get lost in it. Keep healing yourself. Clean the junk out of your head, out of your body. Walk, learn to be quiet. Feel spirit. Get the connection. And don't ask too many questions. Don't ask too many questions.
Well,
yeah. Of spirit. You know what I'm saying? Learning and reading and all of that and finding a mentor. But when we're constantly asking spirit about ourselves, these kinds of questions, we're meant to walk it out to get the answers, is what I'm saying.
I love it. All right. How do they find you if they want to book an appointment with you?
Well, it's SheriPerbeck.com. No space between my first and last name, or you'll find a construction company. But I'm on Facebook and
Are you on Instagram too?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram.
Okay.
Yep.
And you can do it over Zoom. They can come to your little cute she shed.
Yep.
And you're here, I guess I can tell, Wilmington. I think it's on your website.
I'm in Wilmington.
You're in Wilmington. So if you're in the Wilmington area, please look her up. And it's usually like an hour.
Yeah, most
booking.
people do an hour, but you can do either half hour or an hour. One other thing a lot of people ask me is it the same in person as it is on Zoom or even phone? And it is.
Okay.
It is because spirits everywhere.
Spirits are, wherever.
Yeah. I do readings all over. Ireland, Scotland, China.
That's amazing.
Yeah, spirits everywhere. It doesn't matter.
I could go on hours with you. But
thank you for having me on.
Yes.
It's fun.
Yeah. You've helped us so much in our life. And, I just wanted to have you on so that I feel like just this whole show is about helping others. And, even if someone out there listening and they've lost and they're grieving and, if they could just reach out to you, because I try to send everyone your way. I'm like, go talk to Sheri.
And thank you. Yeah. Thank you for all your support. Really. It's been wonderful. When you asked me, I was like, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know what you were going to say.
You're
so
such
I was
an inspiration.
Super happy that you said yes. And I was like, she said yes. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how you'd feel about it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I have the same desire. I want to help people.
And the more you get out there, then someone listening to this episode today, you are meant to call Sheri or connect with Sheri. That's why you're listening to this show. So that's what I feel.
Well, thank you.
All right. Go check us out on Spotify, YouTube. Jamie, where else are we? Facebook, Instagram. Go download. Go check out VMV Farms. Book your wedding. We are having an open house on September 25th. Come see us.